Hey, good morning. Welcome back to The Good Stuff, where we try to look at the Bible so we can live it out in our lives. This morning we are looking at Amos 5:24, which says, "But let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream." In Amos 5, God is actually giving some warnings to his people. They were not really upholding justice. They weren't pursuing righteousness, but they still were kind of trying to play church. They were still trying to go through religious festivals and activities, and God actually rebukes them quite a bit. He says, "Away with your music. I don't want to hear your songs. I don't want you to show up to the assembly offering these sacrifices because your hearts weren't caring about justice. Your lives weren't being spent fighting for what was right." And so he kind of called them out, and that he also offered this invitation to let justice roll on, let righteousness never fail. And I think that's a great reminder for us that God isn't as interested in us playing church as he is living out our faith, that he wants us to be in church for sure, that he wants us to come and participate in the assembly and being together. But if we're not upholding justice, if we're not fighting for righteousness, if we're not trying to help our neighbors and love him well, if we're just trying to go through the motions, right? If we're just kind of faking it, if we're just being very religious but not righteous, God says, I really don't have much interest in that. If you're just trying to check boxes by being in some religious service, but you're not upholding righteousness amongst your neighbors, relatives, and friends, then you're not honoring God and fulfilling what he's called us to do. So as we begin this weekend, can I invite you to let justice roll on through you, to let righteousness never fail like a stream of water, but instead to think of ways to love our neighbors, to care for others, to make sure that justice and righteousness are our pursuits and our passions, because that's the kind of life, that's the kind of people that God wants us to be. And that is the good stuff, y'all. Wishing you nothing but the best. Have a super awesome, amazing day. Love y'all. Peace out. Deuces.